Is it? It is. All right. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
It's hotter than a butt cheek sandwich. I'm up to my knees in chicken shit. This, I'm gonna go fishing with my new fishing lure.
That's what you think, stupid man.
The Morning Stream. No dicks here.
Hey everybody, welcome back to TMS. This is the Morning Stream for Wednesday, September 8th, 2021. I'm Scott Johnson, and I'm joined by another guest host. Today we have Garrett Weinzierl joining us. You know him from The Instance, and of course The Angry Chicken, Into the Nexus, and various other projects. Garrett, welcome to the show.
Hello, Scott. Good morning.
Hello.
Still technically morning, even with the time difference between us.
Yeah, we usually only talk on Fridays, man. Fridays.
Yeah, and sometimes not even then. We both when we travel, we both like leaving on Fridays.
Yeah, what's that about? What's that?
Yeah.
Deal? What do you think that is? Is that because we need that extra day to settle in and actually enjoy ourselves and shake off our mortal coil?
It's because we're actually best friends with our wives, and we want to spend like an extra day with them.
That's a
when we
good
go
point.
places.
That's one thing I think we have most in common. Actually, is our wives are more than just our love interests. They're our our best friends, our confidants. What else? They're the I don't know what I'd do without her kind of people. So there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, it's good to have you here. So Garrett, of course, it makes sense that he'd be on here today, but we couldn't do a TMS without at least acknowledging that Brian is still in Ireland, and he'll be back this weekend, but he's still there. He's having a great time. And I actually got an audio thing from him from the road. He just got done. You'll like this because you love the Star Wars. He just got done climbing that island thing where Luke was getting the boob milk out of the alien.
Skellig? The Skellig Islands?
The Skellig Islands there. And
from Last Jedi? Oh, those things are so cool looking.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. And so he went out there, got some of the milk from one of those creatures. Just kidding, none of that happened. And the porgs were nowhere to be seen, apparently. But anyway, this is him just post-climbing all that stuff. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hello, Scott and co-host and Tadpool. Just checking in, saying howdy to everybody. We're having a great time out here. Went to Octo today, the island, Luke Skywalker's island with the Jedi Temple and all that. It's really called Skellig Michael, and we climbed up it. I'll post photos on Facebook. But we're having a great time here. We miss everybody. Can't wait to be back and do another show with all of you listening on Monday. Hope you're having a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
I like how he kind of wound down there at the end, like a guy who maybe just climbed a high place and is a little tired, and it's like 5 in the afternoon, and
Yeah, the clear vacation. I have no idea what frickin' day it is at the end of that.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Yeah, I saw one of his videos of him like driving on an extremely narrow road and suddenly being faced with another tiny car coming directly at them.
Yeah, truly facing the dangers of Europe, one step at a time, and we're impressed with that. So
we're tiny roads, tiny.
Very tiny. They've had them forever too, so they're not changing. They're not going to go like widen those roads suddenly.
It reminded me of like driving around Maui on my my honeymoon, doing the road to Hana. That road is sketchy.
Yeah. Is it up high too? So you're like way over the water and stuff?
It's not too bad. We circumnavigated Maui like our second day there, and I think it's the western side of the island. I don't know. One of the sides was way worse than the road to Hana in terms of like being like a cliff road that's seemed like a mile above a rocky ocean death. Yeah.
You don't want to die. You want to live. I understand that. There's some mountains up here where the only way to get up through them is through very narrow roads. And if you do those in the winter especially, you're just asking for death. So be careful out there, everybody, is what we're saying. Anyway, thank you, Brian, for sending that in. Hopefully, I'm going to try for a live call tomorrow on TMS where my wife Kim will be back hosting tomorrow. So watch for that. And we'll try to get him while he's out there and actually in Ireland, and see if his accent's been affected or if he's truly over his jet lag yet, or I don't know how many boiled potatoes he's eaten, because I assume that's all they eat there, that sort of stuff. All these stereotypes that I have, they'll all be put to the test tomorrow when we do TMS. All right. I got an update. for everybody who, so we got a bunch of emails and a bunch of reactions to the homeless guy flipping me off yesterday, and this is a.
Oh, I heard this. I only heard up to Justin yesterday. I haven't finished the episode, but
you did hear that. Okay, good, because this will be good. This will be good catharsis for both of us probably. But anyway, it's for those who missed the show yesterday. If you didn't hear the story, the basics of it are this: we pulled up to a place where there's always somebody standing there with a sign saying out of work or need help or whatever, and we always have a couple of bucks in the car and always try to help. And so even if we don't know, even if they're full on scamming us, we don't care. We figure that's not our job to judge. It's just our job to help where you can. So that's what we do. And when we give a little money to somebody up there, we just assume it's going to a good cause, like they're eating with it or they're something good's happening. Well, when we did that this time up by this mall intersection that we always pass, the guy reached out, took her money, came back, and as she turned away and came back toward the window of the car, or she was coming back toward me, he flips me off, gives me the bird. All right, gives me a finger. Now, lots of theories being floated about what actually happened there. Most of them are he's probably... There's mental illness there. Sometimes they'll make a gesture or say a thing that they don't actually mean to say. Think of like somebody with a bad case of tics or Tourette's or something, where they're saying, stuff that they wouldn't normally say in the context that they're saying it. And those all sounded fine to me. But here's the explanation. I think I don't know. I might be buying this one. William Townsend sent this in, and he says, "I guarantee that homeless guy wasn't flipping you off. There was definitely another homeless guy beyond your car that he was flipping off." So his theory, if I'm to extrapolate,
is totally it's a little street corner rivalry.
Yes.
Hey, I got a buck and you got jack, buddy.
That's what he's thinking. Now, I don't remember if somebody was around. I didn't, case the joint and kind of see who was standing around there, but it's not a bad theory that there's some competition on why would this particular form of commerce or of whatever you want to call it, why would it be any different than any other? There's going to be some competition on the corner, and perhaps he was throwing the bird at somebody else. Entirely possible, but I swear he's looking at me. It looked like he was going right at me, and I felt his eyes on me. So it's possible, but other theories still being floated, and we have no answer truly to this.
I wish you had turned back around like a skit from Curb. You just went over and like very calmly just asked, like, I just want to be clear. Were you flipping me off?
Yeah, why didn't I do that? That's what I should have
done. Maybe another car was going by and they made a rude gesture towards him and he was just getting back at him. Like there's all kind. You could have just been collateral finger damage.
Chat room, you know what to do. That's a title. Get that one in there. Hashtag that one in there. No, like what Larry David would absolutely stop and do that. I never think to do those sorts of things, which I think is what divides me from the Larry Davids of the world. I don't ever think about it.
It's pretty rude.
Yeah. I mean, I would know what fart gas means probably, because I would have asked the guy that yelled that at me the one time. What was the other one? Crap, I can't remember the other one. Anyway, when these guys yell stuff at me in parking lots and I don't understand it, the Larry Davids among us would like stop and go over there and go, "I'm sorry, can you explain what you meant by that?" And you'd get an answer. I don't ever do that. I just kind of, explosive tip. That's right. Like I just ruminate and wonder and then talk about it on the show and then never have a real answer. And then down the road, someone will say, "Hey, I listened to your show 4 years ago and I think explosive tip was this." And it's just yet another theory and I'll never know. Who knows where that guy is now? I don't know. So same thing with Bird Guy. I have no answers. I don't know what to say. I should have Larry David it.
Bird Guy, the even lamer version of Birdman.
Hey, Birdman's great. You gotta love Birdman. Are you telling me you don't? I mean, unironically, you can't love.
Now, the rapper Birdman was very big when I was in high school.
Hold on, there's a rapper named Birdman.
There's a rapper named yes.
Okay, none of this is. I didn't know this. Okay, but I'm thinking of this
one-hit wonder.
The original 1960s animated Birdman. Here's another one. Here's another clip of him.
"I'm due in Washington for an important military meeting, and no sign of Avenger."
Yeah, it's his bird. His bird is Avenger. Anyway, the original people were supposed to take it seriously. Superhero Birdman is amazing, but you can't actually believe that. You can only believe that ironically. That's the rule there. Anyway, but Harvey Birdman, attorney at law, good stuff. Good parody. Well done. Nice job. You convinced a whole generation that was Birdman. So good job, guys. And now Garrett has introduced a rapper I've never heard of. So good job. I don't know. Did you say rapper or musician? What'd you say?
I vaguely remember it as a rapper from the early aughts.
Now I have to know. Hold on. Birdman rapper. Yeah, it is. It's a guy named Birdman.
Yeah, what was it, 2002, I think?
Yeah.
The hit single?
He was born the year I was born. Let's see. Trying to find it here. Okay. He started with Cash Money Records. And let's see. I'm trying to find a song I would know. I can't find any. I guess him and Lil Wayne are feuding. They like to feud.
Oh, cool. Lil Wayne, way more famous.
Yeah.
Like, not even close.
Yeah. He's got a mugshot from 2007 where he got in some troubles. And
hey, yeah, you gotta have that. If you're a rapper without a mugshot, I mean, really, what are you doing?
How do you feel about this whole Lil in front of names? How's that land on you?
It's been around for a long time. I feel like, much like autotune, I've been beaten into submission where I no longer really care.
Oh, that's an interesting
comparison. It's just a thing. It's just a thing. It's just a style.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's all fine.
All right. I kind of hate it, but but you make a good point about just sort of letting it just let it be.
You like the Post Malone. The Post Malone does that.
Oh, I love the Post Malone, but he doesn't have Lil in his name. He doesn't put Lil.
Oh, I thought you were talking about autotune. My bad.
No.
Yeah.
Autotune, I don't care about.
No, I'm with you.
Autotune has its place.
I agree. Thank you. I was very grumpy about it in the early days, but like, I don't know. The older I get, I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna sit here and complain about distorted guitars because it's kind of the same concept.
And if I'm gonna listen to, I don't know, Daft Punk and not have a problem with voice modulation over there, why do I have a problem over here? Like, it's just a different application of.
Thank you for. Listen, I'm a grumpy old man about a lot of things, but thank you for joining me on not being a grumpy old man on this one subject.
Garrett, we're peacemakers, is what we are. We're making peace. One day at a time.
Nicely done.
One rapper at a time. And one day I'll get over my Lil problem, but there's tons of them. There's like here, look at this. Rappers with Lil in their name. Look at this. Okay, I got a whole list for you. According to our iHeartRadio, here it is. We got Lil Wayne, you know him. Lil Uzi Vert. Okay.
He's in the news later, I believe.
He is. We got a story about him. Lil Baby, Lil Peep. He's a white fella.
Lil Bow Wow was in Tokyo Drift as a main character.
Oh, that's right. It's the best of those movies, in my opinion.
I'm a fan.
I like it a lot. Lil Skies, Lil Yachty, Lil Dicky. I don't know if I'd have that name. I'm just saying. Maybe not that name.
We had our dances in high school at the Lil Yachty Club.
Oh, you did? And how'd that go?
It was a very bad joke for a yacht club, Scott.
It was a very bad joke. Nicely done. Lil Durk, Lil Pump, and everyone, of course, knows Lil Nas X. Of course, Lil Kim. Just saying this kills me. Lil Bibby. Oh, man, we should tell Ibbot. There's a Lil Bibby. He goes by Bibby sometimes, so there's that. And finally, Lil Twist is your other guy. Anyway, I don't know why that was fun, but it was. I feel like I've done that before, but I enjoyed looking at those names. All right, let's get to the point here. That is, I want to dig deeper into a part of Garrett's psyche that I've never really, I don't know, we don't really talk about on the instance. There's no real reason to there. And we just
There's no reason for me to talk about this anywhere, which is why I think it comes out in anecdotes constantly.
Well, I think this is a good place for it because TMS is all over the place. So it has its, this is a safe place for this discussion to happen. Garrett is obsessed with cars, and not just cars, but like, what am I trying to say here? If I was
enthusiast vehicles,
you're an enthusiast, yes, and if
very specifically cars,
right?
SUVs can die in a fire.
Yeah.
Teslas, I respect raw speed, but they bore me to tears. All you do is put your right foot down. It'd be like having a video game that plays itself.
How do you feel about your average 4-door sedan? How do you feel about that?
I think some of them are really rad. Some sedans can be super, super cool.
Yeah.
It's a thing that Germany does very, very well. They make super exciting sedans.
Yeah. You prefer any brand or like BMW over Chrysler or not Chrysler?
I'll say the only car poster I ever had on my wall. It's actually kind of a lame car, but the BMW Z3. Because when I was growing up, Pierce Brosnan was my James Bond.
Yeah.
And the first car he has in GoldenEye is a BMW Z3.
I gotcha. Do you still feel that way about him? You're like, you're still my James Bond. Everyone else can go pound sand. How do you feel about that?
Listen, I love GoldenEye. Actually, the Bond I watched the most recently was GoldenEye. But I absolutely go reaching for Daniel Craig immediately. Those movies, they're just so good.
They're great,
They're
right?
so good. They're absolutely updated for modern sensibilities. The Pierce Brosnan movies were like the last breath of. It was they didn't course correct, even though Austin Powers had ruined old school James Bond sensibilities.
If you ever wanted to see, if your desire is to see Sean Bean killed by a satellite, though, you got to go to. Not satellite, a giant. What the hell was that? A giant dish.
It was a satellite.
Was it a satellite?
I mean, essentially, it was like a basin satellite.
Oh, that's right. Okay, but if you and we all know Sean Bean dies a lot in everything he's in. But man,
yeah, if you want to see Sean Bean die, just watch anything with Sean Bean in it.
in.
If you want to see him specifically get murdered by a giant satellite installation, then GoldenEye is your movie.
Yeah, right in his face, like in the center of his dumb face. Anyway, the point is. What is my point? My point is, I got sidetracked here with the Pierce Brosnan. Oh, so back to the cars here. You're a huge fan of, like, I don't know, Supras and that kind of car. I don't even know what to call those.
Yeah, like what is it? Known to the enthusiasts as the Mark IV Supra, which is like from like 93 to like 98. That's my dream car.
Why did that end?
I'll probably die having never owned one. They have gone up so much.
What happened in 98 where they were like, nah, we're done with this cool thing. We're going to move on to something worse. What happened there?
I honestly don't remember. I want to say it kept going for a year or two in Japan after they pulled it here in the States, but that was the end of it here.
Yeah. What made it special? Why? What was the big deal?
Well, it has one of the most famous engines like in the history of tuner cars.
Yeah.
Which would be so like if you're curious like why the hell I even care about cars, I was a perfect age for the Fast and Furious. Like absolute perfect age. I was 14 years old when the first Fast and the Furious came out. I was just hitting high school. I was just starting to like, oh shoot, I'm gonna be able to drive soon. Yeah. Woo!
Yeah.
And then following that, like Need for Speed Underground 2 came out, which is still to this day like one of my all-time favorite racing games. And I pre-World of Warcraft, I spent like WoW hours in that game just customizing my cars.
Oh my
I was
Lord.
like obsessed with Pimp My Ride and Fast and the Furious and Need for Speed, all that stuff. And then back in like 2015, kind of started scratching the surface of it again, kind of forgot and like kind of remembered I liked cars. And so does Katie, my wife. And so we started watching Top Gear, like British Top Gear, and kind of looking into it because I was leasing a Prius at the time. Yeah.
Doing your part. You're being a good citizen, man. Just taking care of the environment, one man at a time. It's fine.
But I had started working from home. 2015 is when I started working from home. I wasn't full-time working for myself, but the job I was working at the time, they were like, well, you can save a bunch of money if we just start working from home. So we started working from home, and I'm like, I don't need to save the gas anymore. My lease is coming up. What should I get? And I found out you can get fun cars and not spend Porsche prices.
Oh, interesting.
There's plenty of fun cars that are like under $30,000. And we ended up getting a Scion FRS, which is exactly the same as a Subaru BRZ, if you're familiar with that car.
I liked those Scion cars. Am I alone in this? You know what I like a lot? I like a small car. I'm weird this way. I'm 6'3", almost 4, and give me a tiny car. That's what I like. I like to cram in there and barely fit, and I don't care what brand.
I wanted. This was the thing. I never had a car like this. I was previously I was like a Mustang fan. I've always been a Ford fanboy growing up. But this car really ushered in like a new age of me being completely obsessed with motor vehicles.
Nice.
So
to the point
because
that
it's like sitting in a cockpit. Like the seating position is very Porsche-like.
Yeah.
I've driven a 911 Porsche before, and it's near identical in terms of like feeling like your butt's dragging on the road.
Oh,
and so Katie and I both really got into it. Katie's been in the cars too. She was same age. We grew up together. enjoying Fast and the Furious and stuff growing up. So,
Right.
Anyways, yeah, we started going to meets and learning a lot about cars, and eventually I decided to sell her old car. She took the FRS. I went and bought a manual Mustang GT and taught myself how to drive manual at like 26.
Wow. I was raised on a stick, so I feel like sounds strange to me because I hated automatics and was all about sticks for a long time. But I guess
and then Katie learned how to drive on that too, and we sold the automatic FRS and replaced it with the same year but manual FRS, and so yeah, and last year this year we did our first track day. We went out to Sebring International Speedway, and it's really just been this kind of crescendo of interest for Katie and I. So it's like this big shared hobby between us. And we really just dig them. Like once I found out I didn't have to spend like $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 to have a really fun car.
Do you ever go to one of those midnight freaking, Ludacris is walking around checking people's engines before you start, $2,000 buy-in, whatever, where the cops
actual illegal street racing? No.
Yeah. Okay.
No. It's been a problem. It was a huge problem in 2020 with COVID. It was called like takeovers, where enough of them would show up and just like shut down intersections and do donuts and stuff, and it was becoming a big problem, and places like probably closest to us to like Atlanta was really having issues with it. And it was just kind of ruining it like for everybody.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys up our street who at 3:00 in the morning, even this morning, they've both got two of these cars that look like it looks like one of the cars that were chasing the semi in the first Pixar Cars movie. So like, lights.
Yeah, we just put underglow on Katie's FRS.
Oh, you did? Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
And there's a completely extra set in the garage that I haven't put on my car yet because now I know how much work it is to do. It took me like 4 days. Her car just lived on jack stands.
Do you ever go nuts with like the sound system so it blows your hair around and all that? Those kind of people with the crazy bass?
I haven't, but that is very, very much on my my wish list. So my first car was a 1996 Honda Accord.
Yeah. Fine car. Fine car.
Yeah. They came in a wagon spec, and it is a top 3 car for me. I want to find a manual 96 Honda Accord wagon. They're so hard to find now because half of them have been exported to other countries to be taxis or they have just died.
Yeah.
They
last a long time.
I want that to be a stereo car.
That's
like if I ever find one of those, I'm going to fill the wagon back with speakers and woofers, and I'm gonna put air suspension on it and just drop it to the ground.
All right, so you are, clearly, unapologetically, this is a not a subculture, but a thing that you're way into. My question is this: is it my impression when I hear somebody talk about it as passionately as you are is that this is probably costing $1 billion a minute to do anything with it. But you're saying you don't have to be, Joe Money to make this work.
No, not at all. It depends on what you're into. Like if you want like the fastest car in the world, yeah, it's gonna cost big money. Yeah. But if you just want like a fun enthusiast vehicle, there's so many options out there because what's a really, really, really fun car is a Miata. You know what costs $3,000? A Miata.
Really?
You could you want to go get like a Gen 1 pop-up headlight manual Miata, you can find them running for $3,000.
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why is that so cheap? That seems crazy to me. Those are
because they've been around since 1990.
I guess so.
And they make barely 100 horsepower.
But
they're rear-wheel drive, so you can have fun with them.
What about those Mazda? Mazda had that rotary engine that was so cool. RX-7s or 8s.
Oh yeah, if you want a money pit, that's a great way to go. I love the RX-7. I absolutely love the RX-7. Especially the second gen, the FD designation RX-7, which is like what Han drove in Tokyo Drift. He had a wild body kit on it, so it doesn't even look like the original car. But I think those next to the Mark IV Toyota Supra, that's probably like my all-time favorite 90s car.
Well,
rotary engines are notorious for constantly needing maintenance and breaking down.
The funnest 2 cars I ever drove are 2 cars I would love to have today, but you can now tell me if these are money pits or not. So I'll tell you the first one. The first one was a then Datsun, of course, later Nissan 280ZX. Was the sweetest freaking ride I ever sat in. I loved that car. It was my dad's, but I loved it. Loved it. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, Toyota made MR2s back in the day. Do you remember these?
Oh yeah. The rear engine
Yeah.
sports cars. Yeah.
They had a problem with like struts would break real easy if you hit a speed bump too fast or something. But how do car heads like you view the MR2 favorably? Do you look back and go, oh yeah, those were the days, or are we happy?
I think they're really rad. I mean, everyone kind of has their personal taste, right? Like I mostly skew imports, but I still love Fords. I mean, I drive a Focus RS now, which is like the top spec Ford Focus they've made.
And aren't they done? They're done now, right? No more Focuses?
In the States. Europe got a whole new generation of Focus the year after they stopped selling it here in the States.
Okay.
Ford only sells trucks, SUVs, and Mustangs now. The Mustang is the only car Ford sells in the States.
And that new Mustang is ugly, by the way.
We could spend an hour on the intent of using the Mustang brand on an electric SUV. Once I got over it pretty quick. I'm like, whatever. It's not really a Mustang, if they want to call it that, whatever. I think it looks cool. Actually, I think Teslas are kind of ugly. I like the way the Mach-E looks.
I do too. I just don't know why they.
My biggest complaint is I really want the new Mustang Mach-1, which is a real Mustang.
Yeah.
And so every time I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of thinking about selling my RS and getting a Mach-1, everyone's like, oh no, don't do it. It's not a real Mustang. I'm like, no, not the Mach-E.
Not the
Mach-E. The Mach-1.
Yeah, nobody wants the Mach-E. They're from Star Trek. They're the rebels that will go to Deep Space Nine and attack.
Yeah. No, they're fine. It's just it's not like, as far as I'm concerned, it's not really a Mustang, but like I think it's a really well-made electric vehicle.
I think that's my problem. Is just they called it a Mustang, and I just feel like that's hallowed ground, and I don't know why you do that to yourself. Like,
it's absolutely brand recognition.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, and I mean, like, I'm sure some people are kind of annoyed that they're bringing back the Lightning moniker for an all-electric F-150, but I think that thing looks dope.
Yeah, that thing looks all right.
And if I was gonna get a truck, I would be eyeballing that.
I'm all for going headlong into the electrics and making a mess, making a noise there. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Also,
but
the cool
both the
thing,
cars
I
you
will say
mentioned,
this.
I would say are definitely in the attainable field.
And I will say this: the Mach-E, it's got these, rear lights that when you do your turning signal, I don't know why I like things like this, but if you turn left, it does a sequence. It's 3 lights, and it goes tick 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 tick, like in a row.
Traditional Mustangs have been doing this since 2013.
Oh,
because Mustangs have always had that 3 vertical bar tail lights since the original Mustang that came out back in 65.
Yeah, the old one.
And in 2013, they got these really, really cool redesigned rear lights in this like mid-cycle refresh. Yeah. Matter of fact, I think last I checked, I don't know if he still has it or not, but Daryl Skeels has one of these.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we spent one nerdtacular breakfast just raving, ranting about Mustangs to each other.
I know when he bought that car, and it was this year.
1930.
Just kidding. Well, anyways, there you have it. Good stuff. I love talking about cars because my dad loved cars, and you and my dad would be best friends, man. I'm telling you, he could sit and talk all day to people like you. And,
it's fun stuff, man. It's like I've always liked them, but it really has become a hobby kind of in my adult years.
So that thing where you went to the raceway thing, what'd you call that? You had a name for it. What was it called?
It's a world famous track. It's called Sebring.
Yeah,
which is in Sebring, Florida, but it's Sebring International Speedway.
That's right, and you get to race around that thing, like not race, but speed around.
There are things called track days that are held all over the United States here at various tracks. Your costs will vary depending on what like racing club you book it through.
Yeah.
So we had to join a club and then pay an entry fee, and then I also paid extra for track day insurance. Yeah. Because if you run into a wall and call Geico, they're just gonna laugh at you.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. So did you have to wipe all the adrenaline off the seat when you were done, or how'd that all go?
Oh, dude, it was the first few. So we did, I want to say 4 30-minute sessions, and then there was just an open hour at the end of the day to just drive as much as you wanted.
Wow.
So it was a lot of seat time.
Pretty cool.
And my first 2 sessions out, it was the most terrifying thing I think I've ever done.
Really?
Because I was racing my own personal car. And like I was like it to me it was the braking. The braking was scarier than anything else because to do it right, you're doing it right at the edge of the limits of your brakes. And it just feels wrong. It goes against like everything I've ever learned about braking.
Yeah.
But it's like the later you can brake because you find the limits of what your brakes can achieve, the faster you're going to improve your lap times.
Yeah.
And that was the part I was really struggling with. But by my 3rd session out, I was very used to the feel of all of it, and it was still. I think it's the most fun I've ever had doing anything.
Doing anything
it was
ever in your life.
So much fun. Yeah.
Oh my
Katie and I
gosh.
both went. She took her car. I took my car. We were out on the track together. There were multiple times where we were kind of chasing each other around. I have never had more fun.
See,
it's
best friends still. See, this whole wife thing is the best. You got to find somebody you can go racing with. That's my advice for today.
Yeah.
You said something earlier about laughing at you, and I have to play this.
They're all gonna laugh at you.
All right, I just had to play it. Sorry. Get that out of my system. That's how the soundboard works. All right, hey, we're gonna dive into some news because we got stuff to cover today. Let's do it. Today's news brought to you by the many shows over at amove.tv. Garrett, tell me more about any of them or all of them and why people should listen to them.
Well, I have some shows I would say are considered by some to be institutions now. The Angry Chicken about Hearthstone and Into the Nexus about Heroes of the Storm have been going for
long time,
near a decade at this point.
Yeah, long ass time, man.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, been going a long time. I think they're pretty damn well polished shows that know what they're doing. And we put out an episode every damn week. But literally this morning, I got a "You've been approved by Apple Podcasts" notification in my inbox, Scott. So I've got a brand new podcast.
Ooh.
Just hitting feeds with one, you know him from There Will Be Dungeons, with one Kyle Ferguson.
Kyle Ferguson. We love Kyle. So we already liked Garrett and we like Kyle. What do you guys do on that show?
We were for the last like 4 weeks we've been experimenting with a gaming news show where we talk about like one big headline and kind of dive into it. And it also has given us a chance to kind of experiment with YouTube because if you go watch it on YouTube, there's a lot more visuals than we're used to, but still coming out in podcast form. So now we have broken it out of the Into the Nexus feed. It is now its own show. It is called Nexus Gaming News.
Nice.
And it is now available everywhere you get your podcasts. So we just did an episode on those new restrictions in China saying that people under the age of 18 can only play 1 hour of online games a night and only on weekends.
Yeah. Well, that's hell's bells. Look, you guys, more great game information from voices you trust. And this is one of them. Listen to this.
Very good. Very good.
That's Kyle doing a voice on There Will Be Dungeons. I don't think he'll be talking like that, but, you know, you want more Kyle.
You might be surprised. Kyle is a man of many voices.
Yeah, it's very good. Well, awesome. Go check that out, you guys. It's available now. All right, let's get to the news. The news that matters, really, here on the TMS show. North Shore Pizza Dough Blob grew so big and so enormous in proportions it overtook the dumpster it was sitting in, all due to the Ida hurricane thing. All you've heard about is death and destruction from these hurricanes. We thought we'd talk about this giant pizza blob instead, all right? You can get all that news on lots of depressing 24-hour news networks, but not here. We're going to talk about pizza dough. A massive pizza dough discarded by a Domino's Pizza employee tasked with prepping the Covington Pizzeria for Hurricane Ida has grown to be enormous over the past week. What started out as a blob fully contained by the dumpster has now risen and overtopped its metal confines thanks to temperatures that hovered in the 90s. They was described, has documented the blob's growth. Oh, this person, resident, Nicole Amstutz, has documented the growth since Wednesday via social media. Domino's Pizza general manager did not immediately respond to interview requests, which is too bad. Her Facebook post has garnered 1,600 shares as of Saturday afternoon. Not really that many. Quote, "I'm really just happy it's making so many people laugh at such a stressful time," she says. "I would like to share photos of the pizza now with the chat room and people watching the video. If you're listening to audio, I apologize. Whoops, where is it? Okay, there it is. Look at that, man. Just huge. I mean, think of it. Dough is doing what? It's getting all yeasty and it's kind of alive, right? Isn't that the whole idea with bread?
Yes, it is a living organism.
Look at that big stinky freaking nightmare. Oh my gosh, I would die. Oh, look at it. And there's like a bug in there, and there's like a snail just sitting outside of it. Oh yeah, baby.
This is I don't know, this looks like something straight out of like Fallout. Like I'm ready for this to come alive and eat the Master Sword.
Yeah, it's kind of makes you also realize that, I don't know, we should probably eat less pizza. You know, I don't know why I feel that way looking at this. Is that weird?
No, I disagree. I do not. My name is Garrett. I do not endorse this message. Eat pizza. Be happy.
Pizza's pretty
Unless,
great.
of course, you have like a gluten allergy or something. That would be problematic.
Yeah, I've never been allergic to gluten, and I really feel for those who are, because there's so much stuff where you realize, oh, anything with bread, you're just screwed, right? Like, you're just hosed. I can't live without bread. I'm supposed to be cutting down on bread myself, just in general, but no bread? I mean, I can't do it. I can't do it.
It's like my favorite thing.
Yeah,
I love bread.
Because it's bread.
Yes, I love it so much.
It's bread. It's the closest thing in the food world. It's like air. You know, you got bread and everything. Bread is part of every. If you've got a sandwich, it's not a sandwich without bread. Pizza. What is pizza without dough?
As a fan of pan pizza, by the way, if this pizza dough was not sitting in front of a dumpster, my first thought would be that would make some damn good pizza, because it has been left to rise for a long, long time. That'd be fluffy and awesome.
It's the dumpster and the outdoors part that probably put you off a little bit.
Yeah. Bummerific, as Kyle would say.
Yeah, he would say that. That's such a Kyle thing to say. That's hilarious. All right, moving on. Cats. You have a cat? I can't remember. You got dogs, I know.
I do. He's warming my feet right now.
Oh, that's very nice. Very nice.
Down here.
Well, cats are great. We have one too. Deckard the cat. Carter says that right now Deckard is named after Deckard from Blade Runner, and not from Deckard Cain. But we'll see.
You stay a while and take this replica test.
That's right. That's exactly right. Anyway, Deckard's a weirdo, but this is interesting. Cats are falling, and I wonder about him sometimes with this, because he is kind of a psycho. Cats are falling ill with life-threatening stress as owners spend much more time at home due to the pandemic. Oh, who's going to think of the cats? All right, so
if you were ever curious just how much your cat does not care about you.
No, he doesn't give a shit.
Here we go.
Yeah, my cat does not care about us at all. The coronavirus pandemic over the last year and a half has disrupted virtually every facet of 21st century life, from forcing people to work home and all that, to industries grinding to a halt. The coronavirus has enacted a especially heavy toll on the nation. Animal experts have now warned pet cats all across the country, warned that. They have also felt the impact of the pandemic, with COVID forcing them into a new and rather alien lifestyle for cats. Cats are used to being around nobody all day because everyone leaves, and they just sort of have the house to themselves, and they just do their own thing. According to the animal charity Cats Protection, it's just condoms. It's just condoms. Having to adjust their owners working from home has been a particularly stressful ordeal. Unlike man's best friend, cats tend to be more solitary creatures, especially when on the hunt. This, of course, is not always the case with every cat. According to the Blue Cross for Pets, domesticated cats can still form an intimate bond with their owners. On rare occasions, can develop separation anxiety when left alone for long periods of time. So basically, we have just effed with the cats, and now they're all either like having stress or depression or some combination of both, or we're around them too much, or we're not around enough anymore, because some people are going back to work and they freak out. Has your cat exhibited any of these behaviors, Garrett?
So Dexter is I would say a more affectionate than average cat. He'll greet us at the door when we come home if we're out shopping or whatever.
Yeah.
And he'll sleep at the foot of the bed for just long enough to be inconvenient.
Yeah.
As soon as I'm about ready to fall asleep, he wants to leave, and I sleep with the door shut because I need my room to be like a dark cave to sleep. But yeah, no, I would say Dexter is probably the most damn affectionate cat I have ever had, and I've had a few cats in my time.
All right. Of all the cats I've ever had, and we probably had maybe 10 in my lifetime, I think we had a cat named Link who was probably the most affectionate. He wanted to cuddle with you constantly and be held and just be around you and all that. All the rest of them, though, they did not give a shit about me or any of the humans. They were just like, give me food, let me roam free, and that's all they cared about or wanted to do. Half of them escaped because they were like, I'm going out into the wider world. One of them went out and I think sired like 1 billion other cats. And
no.
Yeah, like this cat's name was Henry, and yes, he was named after Henry.
Oh, great! So there's just a bunch of spawn of Henry running around.
There really, literally are people who we still communicate with in our old neighborhood who were like,
wait. So hold on, Scott. Are you telling me that Henry did not obey?
Henry did not. Well, he obeyed his libido. That's what you're asking. Yes.
It's my favorite Nirvana song.
Obey your libido. Yeah, it was a good one. Oh, you have to have a take. Look, you grew up in the, this would have been your era a little bit. This kid who was, when he was a baby, he was naked on the Nevermind album.
Oh, the guy suing the Nirvana.
Yeah. After like a decade of like benefiting from it and like making a big deal and reshooting it and acting like it's the greatest thing in the world. Now suddenly he's saying his life was ruined by it. And what's your take on that? You think he should?
Yeah, buddy, you have too many years of public endorsement of reliving that experience for that story to seem like your complaints hold any water.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think that thing is a money grab and that's it. And I think that's unfortunate. There are pictures of me as a dopey looking naked kid in a tub floating around that if those were following me around publicly, I just wouldn't care. You're not even a year old. You're a freaking baby. So that already to me is a little bit fishy. Secondly, the parents signed it over, which is totally part of the deal. And thirdly, he reshot the whole thing and wanted to be naked for it, and the photographers wouldn't let him. I think that guy's. I think he's full of crap.
Yeah, listen, Dave Grohl is a national treasure. You leave Dave Grohl alone.
Yeah, leave Dave alone. He's got that cool 10-year-old girl in the concert playing drums. You've seen her; she's amazing. He's like
I'm waiting for Dave Grohl to jump the shark, and I'm just starting to think that it is impossible for the man to have a miss.
No, he's great.
I don't care about the Bee Gees. Those covers are insane. They're really
right.
good. They're very well done.
That's right. Leave him and the other guy, Pokaselek or whatever his name is. Papa Hoo-Ha. What's his name? Kevin.
I'm sorry, I don't actually know Nirvana's bassist's name.
Kevin Mochaccino. Whatever it is.
Chris Novoselic.
Novoselic. Leave him alone. He's just retiring and chilling and doing whatever he's doing. Christ?
Is it Christ?
Well, it's a Krist, Krist. That sounds like Christ to me, but whatever.
I just remember that concert on MTV where he threw the bass up in the air and it came back down and hit him right in the face. That's all I think about when I think of Novoselic.
That's nice. Well, when I think of him, I think of all the wrong names I give him and not the real one. That's what I think of. Anyway, Lil Christ. That's his new name, and he's rapping.
Yeah, we're gonna call him Lil Christ. He's gonna start his rap career. He can come down and remodel homes in Florida with Vanilla Ice.
Yep, just like it was meant to be. So anyway, there's your story there. Cats beware. You're having a hard time. All right. Back now. Okay, finally, speaking of Lil names, Lil Uzi Vert in the news. We just talked about him.
My favorite trick in Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
It's a good one, right? Oh, man, I've been in the mood again to go back to that 1 and 2 remake. I just
got a new TV, and it was the first thing I booted up.
Oh, look at you.
It looks so good.
Yeah, that game's great. What a great remake. Or not remake, remaster. I guess it kind of is a remake. It feels pretty redone, like, ground up kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it straddles the line, right? Because like it does change the first game if you want, because it brings in controls from 2 that didn't exist in 1, like manuals and stuff like that.
Sure, but mostly
I think it just improves it.
Yeah, it improves the game. It's very good. All right, Lil Uzi Vert. This is a direct quote. Fans ripped out my $24 million forehead diamond, unquote.
Ouch.
So he's famous for having a diamond, $24 million diamond in his head.
You know what we call that?
The robot from the MCU.
Yes, I was going to say we call that getting visioned.
Getting visioned.
Picking up on what I'm laying down, Scott. We're in sync today. I like it.
Claire says dickhead. Yeah, he's famous for having a lot of money jammed into his head, and he looks a lot like Vision. Anyway, he says that his large pink diamond that he had there implanted in his forehead got dislodged when he jumped into a crowd at Rolling Loud. Is that a concert thing? Must have been, or a place? I don't
It
know.
is not one I'm familiar with, but yeah, it would appear to be a Miami hip hop festival. I could have gone to this.
You could have. Why didn't you? Should have.
I wasn't aware of it.
You're not into Lil Uzi Vert?
Yeah, I do enjoy some rap, but I can't say I was familiar with Lil Uzi Vert before this.
Garrett and I are on the same page on the 2019 album of the year was Post Malone's Hollywood is Bleeding. It's a fantastic album.
100% an artist that I became very aware of through irony, like making fun of him and kind of thinking his name was ridiculous, and then started actually listening to it, and I kind of love Post Malone.
He's great.
Is where I ended up. Yeah,
I love that dude. Now he's like he's a local hero because he lives out here most of his time in a place up in Park City, and then he's got another one in Holiday, and
750 Lambo in the Utah snow.
Yeah, he talks about Utah in his stupid songs and
trunk in the front like that shit Dumbo, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So he's kind of got that going on. We're always trying to spot him at a Walmart because it goes in there to get his magic cards, and I don't know. He's kind of a nerd, and my wife wants to feed him. It's a whole thing. But anyway, what was my point with that? Nothing. We just like Post Malone, and that album's great, and it's still great. And if you never heard it or just dismissed it because you're like, whatever, the kids these days, that's a great album.
It's speaking of Nirvana, if you haven't seen his Nirvana cover set that he did during the beginning stages of lockdown,
it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah,
and he's got really he's wearing a dress the whole time.
Wearing a dress the whole time, and just called up his buddy Travis Barker to come play drums for it. It was a Katie and I watched the whole damn thing.
It was great. It was really good. That was from the basement of his, I think, the Park City house, which is a sprawling, massive place. He's got a guy who's in charge of security and has like 12 security guys. It's nuts. It's nuts. Freaking Post Malone. He's like 26. What are you doing? All right, moving on. Okay. Back to the rapper with the thing in his head. Rapper said he had a $24 million rock embedded into his flashy facial implant. Claimed he saved up for years for the pink gemstone and wanted it to put it in his forehead because he was afraid he would otherwise lose it. According to Lil Uzi, the implant wasn't foolproof because when he did this, a fan reached out and grabbed it and ripped it right off his forehead. Now, the good news is he didn't suffer any serious facial damage. That's already been done by putting a diamond in your head. Okay. So whatever damage that did was the damage you're going to have. And has a barbell piercing in its place right now. He also still has the diamond. They didn't get away with it. It just got yanked out. He got it back. They don't go into details as to how he got it back, if they just handed it over.
Yeah, I'm looking up this Rolling Loud Festival. This is back in July. Why is this just now breaking?
Oh, yeah, this is news as of like...
Yeah, also, I missed out because Post Malone headlined the final day.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Oh, there he is. Yeah, maybe he's just finally telling this story. But there he is with his... Oh, okay, because that's the deal. He shows up to a thing. He doesn't have the diamond. He's got, like I said, a bar in there right now, a pierce. And people were like, what happened? And then he told the story. There he is on the night of. Oh, look at that. Just yanked right, just like what you'd think it looked like. Just a raw, meaty hole in his head from getting that pulled out of there, man.
Yeah, that looks painful and gross. And the fact that it's a pink diamond and there's blood around it, like it's just everything about that just looks like it looks like a D&D monster.
Yeah, I don't like it. It does. The poor prince was cursed. And now
the diamond encrusted beholder.
They said the diamond's still there. I don't see it in that picture. Let me see.
It's that pink thing dead in the middle. If
you tried to put it back, I thought maybe that was just a flesh hole, but I guess you're right. All right,
and maybe it only partially came out.
Dude, why?
Everything about this I could put like 2 pencils through my ear holes, and this grosses me out.
He's also got face tattoos that look like they would have hurt like hell putting them on. Look at those. Oh.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Hey, you got a tattoo somewhere, right?
I do not. No, I like tattoos, but speaking to my previous hobby of cars, every time I think about getting one, I think about all the car parts I could buy.
Oh, that's a good point. Because, $300, $400, $500, $600 tattoo is worth some parts. I get that.
Yeah, you get some stuff. Katie's car really needs coilovers.
For me, it's a permanence thing, and I don't know what I want permanently on me, and I can't decide. And people are like, well, you'll draw your own, right? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if I want to. What if I draw something I hate?
in high school, like growing up, like listening to like AFI and stuff, and like really being into like the kind of like horror punk, spooky stuff like that. I really wanted like Nightmare Before Christmas tattoos. I'm 34 now. I still kind of want Nightmare Before Christmas tattoos.
Some of that stuff will stick around. You're right. Like, but what if it was something else? Like, I don't know. Let's say you're a kid who's really into Barney. Would you really still want a Barney tattoo?
Listen, if you're still into Barney when you're like getting to the age where you can make decisions about inking yourself, go for it.
Yeah. Well, my kids are trying to just convince me that I should just get one, and Kim already got her little arm thing, and I don't know, dude. It's too permanent. Give me that technology where I can digitally print it, and it's permanent until you decide you want to change it, and then it's
I think you should 110% get can tattooed on yourself somewhere.
Lord. Should I really?
Like, if you start with something just absolutely absurd, but that means something to you, I think you're just gonna have fun. You'll become less precious about it, and ideas will just start rolling as to what you want to get.
You know what? That's not bad. I'm just looking here too. I've got this one version of him. That's like all.
You should bring it to you should do your research, find like a really good like traditional black and white tattoo artist, and bring Can and be like, I want your rendition of this. So it looks all traditional and awesome. That's not. But it's still just Can.
Yeah.
From your damn.
Because I'd still have to have somebody'd have to take it and render it and make it look right. Oh, there's a little Uzi in the background still. But like this 3D Can chat room, what do you think of that? That'd be all right. All right, that'd be okay. I don't know.
Good stuff. I for one look forward to Scott eventually looking like an old grizzled sailor just covered in ink.
Great. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine it. We'll see if that day ever comes. In the meantime, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Tom Merritt will be here. You're familiar with him, you know.
Big fan of the Tom Merritt.
Yeah, you might even do a show with him occasionally about Star Wars.
Occasionally, it's my most regular podcast.
I mean, the show you do all the time with Tom Merritt about Star Wars. Well, he's coming on next to talk about some technology stuff. After that, we got Nicole with recommendals. So stick around. Lots coming up. In the meantime, we're going to play a quick song. Now, this is, like I said, one that you recommended to me to play today, and
this
I don't know, maybe I'll let you intro it. Tell me about this thing. What is this song?
So we're about to play. I did some quick research, by the way, too. Brian's website goes back to 2017, as far as I could find, to see what's been played on TMS, and I did a Control F, and I didn't find this played anywhere. This is Goldfinger's cover of 99 Red Balloons. I first heard this song downloading it off of Napster. If that gives you an idea of when I first heard the song. And it is probably still to this day my absolute favorite cover ever.
Wow.
Like, I love this so much. It has absolutely ruined the original for me. The Nina 99 Red Balloons.
I can't even. I'm with you on that. This is better
classic,
than that. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. I love this song.
Plus, it just fits your music taste, and it turns out you and I share a lot of that. So as soon as I heard it, I went like, oh, yeah, this is perfect. So that'll be our song today. We're going to play it now, and when we come back, all that other stuff. So stick around. We'll be right back.
See? Now that is healthy for a boy his age. I mean that as a doctor, not as just a mother. It is so good to see him having fun for a change with an attractive young woman who obviously looks at him with extraordinary affection.
I've had a traumatic experience.
Off, hairball. This is the morning stream.
And we're back, everybody. Thank you for hanging in there and having fun with us today. We appreciate it. Tom Merritt incoming. It's nice about Tom Merritt is when you add him to a call, he's the first guy on the list because he goes by Ace Detect. And that makes things simple. So as a podcaster, I just want people out there to know how much I appreciate somebody being in the A column alphabetically, because I can just pull them in and it's like no problem at all. Here's this.
With the computer, as with any tool, the concept and direction must come from the man.
Hey, look who it is. It's Tom Merritt joining us from his side camera.
Little side eye for you today.
This happens sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Discord decided to pick that camera.
Sometimes it just has a little mind of its own, and then Tom switches. There he is. Oh, he's even wearing a Star Wars shirt. You did that on purpose, didn't you?
No.
Oh, Trek, sorry.
Read it. What does it say?
Well,
Scott got owned by typography.
Yeah, they got me that typography own. Oh my lord. Well done. That's awesome, actually. I want a shirt like that.
This is one of my favorite shirts of all time. I wore this to the premiere of The Force Awakens.
Oh, very nice. Did anybody, square off with you and get mad or anything, or you were good?
No. Everybody was too excited and happy for that. And by the way, when I say premiere, I mean the first premiere to me. I didn't go to like the red carpet or anything like that.
No, not like these
days.
And
for anybody listening, I'm wearing a Star Trek shirt that uses, as Garrett pointed out, the typography of Star Wars.
Gotcha. Th you for that. We got to remember these audio folks and give them the mind's eye a little bit. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, audio note inserted here.
There you go. Hey, quick thing. Your wife hasn't gotten like an early screener for Dune yet, right? Tell me that hasn't happened yet.
No, not all the studios put her on the list. If she was actually conducting the interviews, she'd probably get it. But she has not, as just a producer, director of the department, got it. Sadly,
because I've
seen the entire The Morning Show though.
I'm out of my the whole new season. That's cool.
Yeah,
I'm out of my mind excited about Dune. And in our circles, that's probably not a big shock, but
no, it looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks incredible. 8-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival. What's that about? Holy crap! 8 minutes? What do you even do?
Why not 10? Why not 10? Why only?
Well, that's a good
point.
point.
Just trying to set a Guinness World Record or something? That sounds a little specific and suspect.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Why not 10? I love it. The thing is longer
It was very internet of me to be like, 8 minutes. Why not 10?
Yeah, why not? It was very internet. But like 8 minutes, that's like longer than Freebird or something. That's a long time to stand and clap for a thing. So I don't know. That bodes well.
It's true.
Very excited. Anyway, watch for that in October. But before that, we got to talk about some tech. Today is the Daily Tech News Show version of the TMS segment that we do called Tom's Tech Time. And Tom probably got some tech news that you've been digging around for today. What's going on? What's happening?
Yeah, Amazon just announced its Just Walk Out technology is coming to Whole Foods.
Oh.
If you're unaware, Just Walk Out was first installed in Amazon Go stores. Those are like convenience store sized places. The idea being you scan a QR code or insert a credit card associated with your Amazon account, or they're now doing this Palm thing where you can associate your Palm with your Amazon account. You walk in, you get all your stuff, and you walk out. You don't have to go through a cashier. In larger stores, which they have done with Amazon Fresh, which are their big 30,000 square foot grocery store size, they make you scan it again on the way out. I think with the Amazon Go stores, at least when they launched, you could just walk out. It would know you walked out, and then it would charge you.
Right.
And the whole thing is there are cameras in the ceiling, cameras and sensors all over the place that can tell who you are and what you pick up. And charge you appropriately. And if you put something back, it tells that. Everybody, who's skeptical is like, that'll never work. People will steal stuff. It'll mischarge. It's been running for a couple of years now, and so far there have not been widespread horror stories. I'm sure it makes mistakes from time to time, but it seems like it works pretty well. So this is the big news: is they're bringing it to Whole Foods, which Amazon bought several years ago, and is the largest number of grocery stores it has. Now, to start with, it's only going into the Glover Park neighborhood in Washington, D.C., and the Sherman Oaks area in Los Angeles, California. 2 stores to start next year. But I guess if it works well there, the idea is to bring it to other Whole Foods stores. And because anybody who knows anything about Whole Foods knows that Whole Foods shoppers can be persnickety, you don't have to use it. Yeah. As you walk in, you can decline, like, no, I don't want to be tracked. And then you can just use a self-checkout lane, or they'll even have a customer service person to ring you up old-fashioned style if you really need it. And that will be necessary if you're using EBT or eWIC, or if you just want to pay with cash or a gift card or something.
Yeah, I 100% am down with this because they already have all the info on me they want. So it's not like they're going to get any more by tracking what I pick up or don't pick up and whether I pay for it. But my only thing I wanted to say about this was it feels like the naming's a little bad, given that it's Amazon, and the phrase "just walk out" feels like something that some of their employees who are a little pissed about working conditions.
It's also the name of the warehouse employee movement. Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah,
that was the first thing that came into mind for me.
They named this before the cresting of the labor problems that they had. So they're kind of stuck with it, I think.
Sure. Well, I mean, I would actually really like to try this, but it sounds like it's going to be a ways off for our Whole Foods here before I get in there. So.
Oh, come on, fly out to Los Angeles.
All right,
we'll
I'm
head
on
up
my
to
way.
Sherman Oaks.
I'm on my way. I'll be there tomorrow.
The other thing that's important about this is they say that they will continue to employ about the same number of people they would in any similar size store in these stores. So they're not gonna cut down on employees. They're gonna use those employees to help you out in the store, greet you at the front, be available for problems. So it's not like they're going to employ fewer people. With Amazon, with its labor issues, is hastening to point that out.
One would assume that there will be false positives, though, because that's just the nature of anything. There's going to be one or two cases sometime here or there where that happens.
Yeah, but that's why I said that earlier, is they've been doing this in areas in the UK. They've been doing it at the convenience stores. They've been doing it at their big fresh stores. And we have not heard stories of widespread mistakes. I've seen a couple anecdotal things here and there, but it does seem like it works most of the time.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready for this future.
Probably no more mistakes than you have in a human cashier, which also occasionally ring things up wrong.
Right. Yes, that's true. Right. Like that's the other thing I was going to say. We already got a lot of human error going on. I do. Every time I go to Smith's over here, we have our moments, but yeah, like I'm ready for this future. It's fine with me. A lot of people get scared by this stuff.
This is not really necessarily related to this, but I was buying those big gallon jugs of water yesterday, which we use in a little dispenser thing, and my regular thing is I leave 9 of them because it's 10 for $10. I leave 9 of them in the cart, and I put 1 on the conveyor belt, and then I tell them as they're ringing it up, I got 10 total, and then they ring it up. It's all good. The guy bagging yesterday, as soon as I came up, he's like, he's got bottles in here. And the grocery store, the cashier kind of glared at him like, yeah, okay, I'll get to it.
That's great. You witnessed
Whereas
a little.
if I had cashierless technology, no unpleasantness for anyone.
Yeah, everybody would have been fine. You'd have gotten out of there and nobody would have been the wiser. Garrett, do you look forward to our weird future of walking out of stores and it just knowing what you got?
Yeah. Again, like so much of this conversation has been about verifying if it actually works, and it's like, yeah, if it works pretty darn well, sign me up.
Yeah, and the quicker they do it, the quicker everybody else will do it, right? Like we'll see this at smaller chains and all the Krogers.
Well, yeah, that's another thing to keep in mind is they have already licensed this out to other customers. So Amazon, in their Amazon way, has turned something they developed for themselves into a platform that they're giving out to or not giving out, that they're licensing and selling to other customers. There's a place in Delaware that's doing it. There's a few places overseas that are doing it. So this is happening. This has been happening for years. It works. It's now beginning to spread where it's more likely that you may run into a store that has it within the next year or two.
Yeah, JC Calhoun reminds me in the chat too. There's these other methods like Scan As You Go, which is they also use some of that in the Whole Foods for a while there, or an equivalent to that. But like Sam's Club is Scan As You Go. I wonder if at the end of all of this, what will end up being the dominant way of doing it will be the one that gives the consumer the feeling that they have the most control while they're there. And Scan As You Go at least feels like you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like I'm the one that did this. I know that I got 5 of these or whatever. And
No, it's interesting. Like, will it be a I don't trust you to get it right, or will it be a gosh, it sure is a whole lot more convenient not to have to scan as I go.
Yeah.
Well, because the other thing with Scan As You Go is, what if you make a mistake?
Right.
And what if then you wander out with something in your cart? It's actually probably better for Amazon to just do the sensors, because again, I feel the resistance, not just in you, Scott, but in the world of like, this can't work. And it's like, but it does.
It does. Yeah. I mean, I'm
really
all for
does.
it. I love it. I can't wait for the first time I do it, because I suspect I'm going to feel a certain feeling of like, I don't know. It's going to be euphoria or something. I'm going to walk out of there and go, I just did. I walked out and it just knew what I had, and it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
And that's the thing about the larger stores. I don't know if Amazon Go has changed how it does things, but in the Amazon Fresh stores and in the Whole Foods implementations that are coming up, you will have to scan again on your way out.
Gotcha.
It does make you do a confirmation on your way out, so you can't just walk out. Really,
right.
You have to, if you scanned your palm on the way in, you scan your palm on the way out. If you scanned a barcode on the way in, you scan the barcode on the way out.
What if you wore? Okay, imagine it's a store like a Costco where you have like a lot of stuff, clothes, food, whatever. What if you wore the underwear you bought there last week, and then it charges you again for that underwear, but you're wearing it?
That's not what happens. Again, this is not like they're trying it for the first time, right? This has been tried at I think a few hundred stores now for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And there's not every individual pair. What underwear are you buying that has individual mechanisms within them that can actually check?
That is a very good point. Usually it sees you pick the thing up and put it in your cart.
Yeah.
So it's not scanning through your pants.
All right. You don't have an NFC chip in your crotch.
I'm thinking those little sticky appliques that used to always be inside like the DVD boxes. Like, do you like carry a DVD box with you every time you go to Walmart? What do you do?
I keep it in my underwear on my junk. That's how you get double scanned. I bet they're out to get me. No, I'm all for this. I only ask the questions I know the world will ask, but personally, let's do it.
No, I appreciate that. I really do.
Let's do it. I'm ready to barrel through there and leave without talking to anybody. I think that sounds great. Well, speaking of barreling through and talking to people, later today, the Daily Tech News Show happens at 2:30 Mountain Time. I'll be there because it's Wednesday. That's when I'm on, and I love being on. Tom, anything else you want to mention or talk about today?
Listen. If you're into Daily Tech News, please join us. There'll be more of this conversation and other things to boot. For instance, there's a story kicking around about let me see if I can pull this up real quick, about Australia's new law that makes you responsible for some of the posts on your Facebook group page if you're running a Facebook group. So keep an eye out for that and other things, dailytechnewsshow.com. And I just want to say thanks to everybody who's picked up Project Vera on Audible. It's been a great amount of feedback, almost entirely positive. So I'm glad people are enjoying it. If you have picked it up and you haven't left a review, please do, because that helps other people discover it and spread the word. And again, thank you very much. It's really been a positive experience, and it's probably down to that amazing cover art.
That's probably it. Yeah, I actually have gotten nothing but nice comments about the art, and it makes me very happy to have contributed that. So huge thanks to everybody for your nice comments and for picking that up and enjoying it, because it's very enjoyable, it turns out. It's Tom Merritt, everybody. It's Ace Detect on Twitter, and you can follow him there. Tom, have a fantastic week, and we'll see you later this afternoon.
Take care.
Bye now.
Good to see you, Tom.
Yeah, it's Tom Merritt. Always good to see Tom, isn't it? I won't lie. It's always good.
I really geeked out the first time I met Tom.
Yeah?
And you for that matter. Yeah.
What did
you were less... I think I geeked out less because I had talked to you multiple times, guesting on podcasts before.
Oh yeah, we'd done stuff. In fact, I remember when I was on StarCast, and I remember thinking you were a really cool tomato, like you were really chill about the entire experience. Yeah, and you also seemed older.
Tomato.
A cool tomato, a made up thing I just made up. Hey, look who it is! I know that voice. Listen to this. Nicole Spagnuolo joining us from Colorado. We need at least one Coloradan on the show.
Colorado.
She's here joining us, as she does every Wednesday, to do recommendals. Nicole, welcome. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah? Look.
Says hello to.
It's Maud. Not Maud.
It's not Maud. It's Blanche.
Well,
not Blanche. Dorothy.
Dorothy. But she was Maud in the show Maud, and I always get them mixed up. She's also Femputer. Femputer thinks. Oh, she's great.
Follow this guy on TikTok who reenacts scenes from the Golden Girls.
Yeah.
It's one of the best accounts that I follow.
Oh, really? That sounds all right.
Wigs and the whole thing. It's amazing.
That sounds great. You should share that with me, because I would follow that as well. I'm super into it. I like that show. Unapologetically a Golden Girls fan, so I'm with you. Anyway, Nicole joins us on Wednesdays, as she always does, to do some recommendals. And today will be fun because with our guest host, Garrett, he has a recommendal as well. Ooh.
I've watched a lot of things recently.
Yeah. Well, we narrowed down to one, and I'm going to play it, and people are going to know right away because the clip I found for you is kind of obvious, I think, but I'm dying to hear about this thing. So we'll start with yours in place of Brian. Normally we start with him. It's a movie, and you watched this where? How'd you see it?
You can rent it for like $6 or $7, basically anywhere you can rent your movies, your Amazons, your Apple TV Pluses, any of those places.
All those places. All right. Well, here's the clip. See if you guys can figure it out, and you will. But here you go.
I'm looking for a truffle pig.
I don't understand.
I just want to know about the pig.
Tell him who you are. Come on, tell him. Chef Feld. Oh my God. May I? How are you? My God, you've been off the scene for what, 10 years?
15.
Really? Okay. I thought you would, well, I mean, the time is very,
Sure.
Yeah. I'm sorry, do you need medical attention?
No, thank you.
All right. Tell us about Pig. I want to see Pig.
Katie and I have been hemming and hawing about finally watching this damn movie for weeks since it's been available to view on demand at home, and finally just decided it was time to watch it over the long weekend. And it's Nicolas Cage. The movie is literally called Pig, just Pig. It got a lot of buzz when the trailer came out because everyone, it seemed like, and their mother was yelling, "It's John Wick, but with a pig instead of a dog." And
I thought it was Taken.
I mean,
I heard
basically
Taken,
the
Taken with a pig.
The pig was taken. There's not really a spoiler since it's like in the first few minutes of the movie, and it's in every trailer and every summary of the film. So unless you're like anti-trailer, then you'll probably stop listening to this segment. But
sure.
I loved it. I will say though, it is not John Wick. It is not John Wick at all.
Yeah, it's not like a revenge-y kind of thing at all, right? It's just like a weird.
No, it feels that way. Like this, it is so textural and like slow and simmering, and it just feels like it's constantly slowly escalating to a point of like you're just sitting there on the edge of your seat, like when is this going to go off?
Mm-hmm.
But it's way more. It is a proper, just really good drama. I think it's the best thing I've ever seen Nicolas Cage do.
It
is the best performance I've ever seen him.
I keep hearing that. That surprises me because there's a lot of stuff he's good in. Like that's his
he's
career.
A good
right?
actor, and this movie I think is the greatest showcase of his acting talent. It is like a really poignant film. It takes itself very seriously, despite how hilarious it is to be like, oh yeah, it's a Nicolas Cage movie where he's trying to find a pig. Like that sounds so absurd because Nicolas Cage is like he is a meme, like by existing. But the movie, it was just really good. Is all I can say. It's like it's got some. It sounds cheesy and corny, but it's some really good themes about like kind of like being true to yourself, and it really has kind of a scathing criticism of hipster culture and gentrification. It's a good movie.
Okay, I'm in.
I cannot recommend it enough.
I'm in.
It's sad though. It is, and not in obvious ways. It goes to some pretty serious and difficult emotional places.
Okay. Well, sign me up. I'm super interested in this. It feels like this is the kind of guy these days in his career that he's gonna accept every deal that comes his way, and 94% of it's gonna be kind of bad, but it will pay the bills and whatever, keep him working. And then once in a while, something will fall in his lap where you're like, oh, okay, this is actually really good. And I feel that way about, was it Mandy? That weird horror movie?
I was going to ask if you had seen that.
Yeah, that thing was weird. Oh, you should watch Mandy, dude. Weird. I mean, I wouldn't call it like an amazing performance per se, but the film itself is
I've seen the trailer for this. This is already out?
Yeah.
You can watch this?
Yeah, it's out. I saw it on Shudder, I think. Yeah, it's really
I didn't know that.
Really, really, really good, but also one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. And like I say, like if you do enough stuff, I guess eventually you're going to hit, a couple of quality things. I don't know. He's just such a weirdo. Everything about his career cracks me up and is strange and is interesting, and I really like him when he's good. So hearing this makes me stoked. I'm going to see it. I'm going to rent it, and I'm going to watch it. All right. Well done. Here's mine. It's a documentary. Yeah, that's right. I like those. And it's Amazon Prime who has the rights for this one. So.
Okay, we're safe. We're safe.
Oh, good. Are we? Oh, phew. Because a couple times I always run over Nicole's. It feels like. I guess Brian does too, but not today. Today is this one, so I'll play it and see if you guys can figure it out. It'll probably be easy.
I've wanted to tell a story about acting for a very long time. About truth and illusion.
Our sermon is going to be about truth and illusion.
The truth is, in order to find each character, I've had to put a little bit of me in them and find a little bit of them in me. I've lived in the illusion almost as much as I've lived outside of it.
Guesses? Thoughts? Anyone?
It's a documentary.
Yep. And that, I'll give you the one hint here is that is not the voice you're hearing sounds a lot like
it's Val.
Yeah,
I started to watch this.
Oh, good. There you go. Then you got it.
Yeah.
It's Val, the Val Kilmer thing.
Gotcha. I haven't seen this yet.
Highly recommend this documentary. Even though it's a little navel-gazy.
What?
Well, how do I put this? It's like.
Did you say navel gazy?
Yeah, like navel. You ever heard of navel gazing? It's like
no.
How do you define that? Let me give you the actual definition. Navel gazing. Okay.
Like
not navel gazy. Navel
gaining your navel for play button.
Here it is.
It's self-indulgent.
Self-indulgent. There's the word. Self-indulgent. The actual definition is excessive introspection, self-absorption, or concentration on a single issue. This is definitely that because it's Val Kilmer and it's him narrating the whole damn thing, but he's not. It isn't
everything, and
it's not him, by the way. That's a voice of someone who sounds like him when he's younger because he can't narrate anything because he had throat cancer and he can't talk anymore. His voice, well, he can, but it's through one of those bear things in his neck, and he's barely audible. They have to subtitle everything he actually tries to say, but this is him talking now about his life, about his process, about the films he's been in, why he took certain roles he wanted to get away from, but glad he didn't because they helped define who he was going to be, his method for acting. He's very much a method actor of his time. And anyway, it's really interesting. I found it to be kind of hard to look away from. I really enjoyed it. And part of that, I think, is that here's a guy in his, he's got to be pushing 60 then, something like that. He looks nothing like he used to look. He used to be this hunky, Hollywood dude, who did a lot of artsy projects, but also a lot of like mainstream Hollywood stuff, like The Saint and the Batman movie, and all those sorts of things, and things in the middle like Heat and amazing movies like that. He gets throat cancer late in his career. And it was a bad one, and it really tore him up. And now he looks nothing. You'd see him in a crowd and go, I don't know who that is. You'd have no idea it was Val Kilmer. It's just a completely different human being. I mean, it really ravaged him. But he's retained his wit, his sarcasm, his sort of weird outlook on life. And he's just sort of living his own, to his own beat. And there's something really fascinating about all of that. And I really liked it. And they touch on almost every movie you can think of. Doc Holliday in Tombstone, his Jim Morrison in the Doors movie that got him an Oscar nomination.
The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah, they talked about that. And his wife leaving him while he was filming that.
Oh, wow.
And him not knowing that she was leaving at all. Like there was no expectation for that. And this was someone he met doing a movie like Real Genius or something. I may have mixed up which movie it was, but anyway, there's this whole just like story and they jump back and forth. So that's the other thing. The important thing, the reason this documentary even exists is because as far back as like the early 80s, when he's hanging out with like Kevin Bacon and these different actors from that era, they're all really young. He's got a video camera. Nobody else does. This isn't now when we all have phones. It was back in the day when no one had a video camera. He had one everywhere he went. So Val Kilmer filmed everything, behind the scenes of Top Gun, behind the scenes of everything. And he's just filming all the time. And
Doesn't it remind you of that Kid 90 documentary that I recommended a while back?
A little, in fact, a whole lot, actually.
That, yeah.
Funny you'd say that. A whole lot it reminds me of that. You know, so you get to see all these other people. You get to see kind of where his head was at during all of this. And you have actual footage of his family and his brother who died way too early. And that kind of how that affected him and all this. Anyway, there's a lot more to it. And I don't want to tell you guys the entire documentary, but I think it's really worth seeing if you are at all interested in his career. Even if you're not, just kind of, you know, here's an artist and here's what makes him tick kind of thing going on there. But, you know, if you don't like Val Kilmer, probably aren't going to like this because it's all about, you know, it's all about him. Literally, the thing is the name of his first name. So anyway, it's on Amazon Prime. It's an Amazon Prime original, and it's, I would assume, there in perpetuity. So if you have Prime Video, you can go watch that anytime you want. Okay. He almost turned down Top Gun, and he is in the new Top Gun movie, but no one knows how that'll be. Like, no one knows if he's gonna. It'll be like, oh, Iceman had cancer, and so Maverick's gonna see him or something, or we don't know. I'm really curious.
That was the first thing I ever remember seeing him in.
Yeah, right. That was a big deal for him.
Real genius for me. Or no, Top Secret.
Top Secret, yeah, and they talk a ton about Top Secret and show a bunch of footage from it, and
yeah, someone who like grew up in the '90s, like. The Top Gun one was just always on repeat. If it was on TV, my dad was watching it all the way through. So I saw it a million times.
Dude, Top Gun is great.
Before Top
That's right. He was in Willow.
No, Top Secret, then Top Secret, Willow, then Top Gun. I think is the order. And he talked a lot about Willow, and there's just a ton of stuff. It's really cool. Anyway, if that's interesting to you, well then get in there. I mean, he is in one of the greatest films ever made, which is Heat. Heat is one of the finest films ever made ever. It's the greatest heist movie ever made, in my opinion.
That movie is on my wall of shame. I have not seen Heat.
Oh, Garrett, you'll love it. It's so good. Make sure it's on that hot new TV ears and get some good sound, because the shootout scene in the bank is still among the most visceral.
Geez, thanks for the spoiler, Scott. There's a shootout in a bank in Heat. Oh my God, there's
crazy,
no point in watching this movie now.
I gave the whole thing away in one fell swoop. Anyway, available now. All right, Nicole, what did you see or do?
I gave you some clips.
Oh, there they are right here.
The trailer is nothing but instrumental, and so I couldn't just give you the trailer.
Well, no worries, because I'll find it right now. This is the one listed as today. There we go.
The one that says recommendals.
Got it.
Not the German accent.
Not the German accent? Okay. All right, here it is.
One time I was walking around in the warehouse. There was a big table with a lot of paintings all over the place. And I saw a guy painting with a script liner brush, signing the signature of Bob Ross on the painting. I thought, hey, wait a minute, this guy died and now somebody's signing a Bob Ross painting. What's going on here? A lot of people are able to paint almost exact copies of Bob Ross. And you don't see the difference. I don't see the difference. Nobody can see the difference. The difference probably is a signature, but even then you don't know if it is valid.
Well, is that a Bob Ross over there?
That is a Bob Ross painting, because somebody told me that it was.
I can pretty much recognize the Bob Ross painting.
What do you think about the idea that the only person that is qualified to authenticate a Bob Ross painting is, in fact, Annette Kowalski?
Bullshit. BS, sorry. Baloney. When I saw that guy, that was for me one of the triggers to say there's something very wrong here.
Okay. This is that Bob Ross thing. I've got to see this.
Yes, this is the Bob Ross documentary on Netflix, and the trailer is so like dramatic because it was like, we can't show you this, blah blah. And I was like, all right, I'll just watch it, because I mean, I have fond memories of Bob Ross. I think everyone has fond memories of Bob Ross and the joy of painting, and like there was like the whole resurgence because of the ASMR going on. Yeah. But as you watch
he's right
this,
up there
you
with
realize...
he's right up there with like Fred Rogers or whatever. It's like this,
yeah,
you know, pure wholesome kind of thing from everyone's childhood, and yeah, that whole thing.
So you heard in that clip, Annette Kowalski, her husband also was in there, and they basically did Bob Ross wrong, and the Reddit forum for Bob Ross, woo, They're in a tizzy. They're in a tizzy. They're actually petitioning Netflix to give Bob Ross's son, Steve Ross, his own painting show on Netflix.
Oh, wow. I didn't know his son. Does his son? I guess he paints. He must paint.
Yes. So he was in. You learn about the history of the show, how it came to be. It's a really fascinating kind of behind the scenes of how this show became so popular. And Bob Ross was a good guy, but he was also human. So you get to see some behind the scenes stuff of him, playing around, trying to get his son as one of the art instructors. And with anything, greed, and that's why I think it's called like Greed and whatever. I can't remember the whole title.
Yeah.
Greed and whatever.
Oh, here it is. It's called what's it called? Crap. I thought I had Happy Accidents, Betrayal, and Greed. This is called
Betrayal and Greed.
Yeah.
So, but Bob Ross was trying to set up his son as like his successor. But there's like all of this like shady stuff happening with art classes and paints and brushes, and it's like you wouldn't think there's that much drama in the art supply world, but there is. And the Kowalskis are not happy about the documentary at all. Go figure. And they couldn't get a lot of people to be on camera because they were afraid of being sued by them. So
interesting.
I highly recommend watching it if you have, memories of Bob Ross.
So somehow, what's her name's involved in this as a producer? Crap, I can't think of her name. The actress. She's in the Heat movie. She was on Gilmore Girls. What's Wrong with Me? She was
Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy is a co-producer on this thing.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, and there was some interview with her where she said, this is all I've seen with this interview, but she said that
I don't have one here.
When they built this, or when they were making this documentary, their goal was to just make a Bob Ross documentary and find out how he ticks. A little bit more like the Fred Rogers documentary, all the ins and outs of it, him testifying in Congress, just like, here's a complete Mr. Rogers documentary, which is kind of what that documentary is. They went out to do that here, and she was saying that they just kept running into all this weirdness and backstabby, strange, who owns rights to what, and why did
people tapping phone calls apparently. There was a trust that was set up. So Bob Ross's son was younger. Bob Ross's half brother had 51% control of his name, and then Bob Ross's son had 49%. And just, I don't want to give the documentary away, but shady stuff. And Bob Ross had like audio tapes of conversations that was part of the deal. And like, it's crazy.
Well,
give it a watch.
I'm into it. I want to see it. I mean, at first I was a little bit nervous because their trailers, I hate their trailer. It sucks.
Yeah, the trailer's awful.
And I know what they're trying to say. They're trying to say like, oh, what we found is, we didn't know we were going to find, it's just a way to get people to watch it. And I just think it's a little too much, but I'm glad to hear it's actually.
There's no sex tape.
Yeah, there's no Bob Ross sex tape. Is there? There's
That's not the happy tree you're looking for.
Yeah, I don't want there to be one. Please tell me there isn't one. I hope not. All right. Sounds like there's not. All right. So, great pick.
And I filmed the guy because the way that German guy was saying Bob Ross, I just loved how he said Bob Ross.
Bob Ross. Bob Ross. I like when he said bullshit. I'm sorry, BS, baloney.
Baloney.
Yeah.
Yeah. This trailer keeps like auto playing like everything on Netflix. I can't stand that. And when I first heard about the documentary, I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. But the trailer absolutely took all the wind out of my sails of wanting to watch it. So I'm glad to hear it's worth a watch.
Well,
there's even a GoFundMe to try to, because Bob Ross's son, Steve, and a couple of Bob's like partners tried to actually create a company and then lost the lawsuit, and they didn't have the money to fight it. So there's a GoFundMe trying to raise money to help them do this line of products. So I hope something good happens from it because I feel really bad for Steve.
Yeah, he seems cool, and you're right. This Reddit community's in up in arms, man. Look at these guys.
Mhm.
I'm looking at the page, and they're just like, give
So
Steve
who's going to
Ross
have a
show.
documentary next that just completely shatters our view of their heyday? Because I having just watched the Free Britney documentary.
Let's think. Who would it be? Who's in line for a big blowout?
Steve from Blue's Clues.
Oh, did you see his thing yesterday? Did you watch
I did.
that?
I did.
loved
Although it seems like he has a pretty good relationship with Nickelodeon.
I loved that. I thought that was amazing, and I'm not even at the age that needs to hear that, but my kids were, and I loved it.
I was the age where that show was the number one thing I could not stand my little brother watching. Like
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw a brick through the television every time it was on because I was just in the age where I'm like, I'm too cool for this, and my brother was the perfect age for Nick Jr. programming.
Yeah,
and like that show. And I think Little Bear at the time just drove me crazy.
Yeah. It was for my daughter Carter, who's now 24. This was her Blue's Clues was the jam. That was for her age group, and she loved it so much. And she got, she was in tears yesterday watching that thing.
Oh, I teared up. I was like, this was not even meant for me.
Yeah, I know.
I teared up.
I know. It was really sweet. And somebody on Twitter, the first thing they said to me was, he looks like some 45-year-old guy. And I'm like, well, actually, he's 47. And yeah, he's I mean, what are you even saying? We all get older.
Yeah, everything I've never heard a bad thing about Steve Burns, the actor.
No, he's a super nice guy. He tried to get into music for a while, and I guess that didn't work out great. But other than that,
And
he's
he left because he was balding.
Yeah.
I mean he was getting older, and he's like, I can't let the kids see me get older.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, and
I'm sure he was ready to move on.
That was a really sweet. I just thought it was a sweet little message, and I don't know, but as far as like who's the next like get torn apart and oh my gosh, I can't believe Bill Cosby did that kind of moment for me. I don't even want to think about it because there's some fuse just waiting to be lit right now on somebody we all love and respect. If this Blizzard stuff taught me anything, it's like I can't get I can no longer kind of worship at the feet of anybody anymore because it bites me in the butt. So
Funny thing with this Bob Ross documentary, I still love and admire Bob Ross. I do not ever want to support Bob Ross Inc.
Oh, right.
The company.
Yeah. That's kind of where I was taking it too, is like kind of giving me like new respect for certain figures. Like that's what the Britney Spears documentary definitely did for me, because I didn't really listen to Britney Spears growing up. I was not exactly the target demo, but kind of watching what she went and still is going through, it was like, oh my God, like mad respect.
I haven't watched that yet because it makes me want to punch somebody when I hear about.
I think it's a very good documentary, and especially considering kind of the movement that's been happening in just the last month in terms of.
Well, there was a lot of girls at the time, and they were young. There was, what's Amanda Bynes? Oh my God. All these poor girls at that time,
Amanda Bynes
kind of just put through the meat grinder, and it just, it's amazing that like Mandy Moore got out of that era.
Yeah, she's still doing
as well as she did.
Yeah. Once in a while, a kid actor will, impress with how well they escaped the jaws of the horrible Hollywood system, or music. I guess it depends, but yeah, there's always some.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand is you always have like the retrospect. So we have the retrospect of like the TV actors. So like Emmanuel Lewis and Dana from Different Strokes. I remember her last name.
Dana Plato.
But you have that
Plato, right?
An era of kids that it really messed them up, and they're like, all right, we're gonna make changes. And then you got another generation of messed up kids. It's like, and now wait till they do the YouTube kids. Holy moly.
Oh, it's going to be bad, right? Like it's already bad. Some of the biggest YouTubers right now there's already problems. You think it's going to get any better? No. Especially the young ones with their gigantic followings and they're only like 6. I worry about those kids. I'm worried about them.
Ugh.
Anyway, conservatorships are stupid is the point. Hey, so this is awesome. Let's have Nicole do what she does all the time, every week. She puts this list together of what we talked about today and puts it on Twitter. So you got to follow her, Nicole Spag on Twitter, and you'll find out all the stuff we watched and why you should be watching it as well. Nicole, you got anything else going on you want to mention? Anything good?
Nothing really. I'm learning about 3D printing now.
Nice.
So I'm all about the 3D printing.
Nice. Are you going to show us next week? You got to show us what you've printed or what you're making.
I did a lithophane. Have you ever seen those where you can take a photograph and turn it into a really cool 3D print?
I watched your kids flip out while they were doing that, which is awesome.
I'm teaching 5th graders how to do 3D printing this year.
That's amazing. What, like in class,
I'm doing a 3D printing club. I have 26 little minds going, yes, teach me 3D printing. I'm like, all right, let's do this.
I'm going to play just for fun. Mateo's laugh when he was little. You remember when he used to do that? It's hilarious.
I know.
I love it.
He lost it. I'm so glad we were able to capture that.
Yep. Always be recording, everybody. Nicole Spag, have a wonderful week. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
See you, Nicole.
Bye now. All right. Well, Garrett, we've come to that part of the show. That part of the show being the end of it. We're about done. Before we go, a couple of quick things. This show is paid for by you, listeners. Patreon.com/TMS if you want bonus content, including extra shows and daily content, as well as stuff in the mail and all kinds of cool stuff. You need to go on by and sign up. If you already are, well, thank you, because we owe you our deepest thanks. But if you haven't and are still on the fence, today's a great day to do it. Patreon.com/TMS for as little as $1 a month. You could be a patron of this show. Frogpants.com/TMS for everything else. And as always, if you have any thoughts, comments, feelings, otherwise questions, send them to themorningstream@gmail.com. Before we go, Garrett, we should talk real quick briefly about where people can get all your stuff. I know we've already said it, but let's say it again. Where do they go to get all the AMove.TV stuff? I guess AMove.TV is where they go.
AMove.tv is a great place to go. Yeah, it's the letter A, MOVE.TV.
Yeah.
AMove is a reference to attack moving commands and RTSs, because I got my start covering StarCraft.
Yeah.
And every time I mention that, at least one person tweets at me and goes, oh my God, I never understood it until now.
Now they understand. I always knew. The minute I saw it, I went, that is clever. If you're an RTS fan at all, you know exactly what Garrett means, but I'm always surprised how many people don't get it. You know?
Yeah. So go check it out. And again, go give my latest podcast a look. It's called Nexus Gaming News. It's up everywhere podcasts can be found. Appears it may not be quite up on Google Podcasts yet, but their dashboard is a nightmare, and I don't know how much I should trust it.
It's horrible. Can I just say, okay, I've been podcasting for nigh on, I started doing shows in 03, so that's a long time, or 99, but let's not even count that. Let's jump all the way to 2014. 2004, 16 years I've been doing this. No one has ever had a worse system for getting podcasts in, approved, done, and listed than Google Podcasts. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Horrendous.
Yeah. At least the sound quality is good. Like Stitcher still makes me the angriest, but at least they're easy to submit to, and their dashboard is user friendly.
Yeah.
Google, it like I'm looking at it right now. It says it's there, it's up, it's approved. I don't know to trust them because they don't give you a link.
No.
There's no way to go check if you don't have an Android device.
Yeah.
Which I don't. So
once they work, it's fine. It's just the process of getting it there and then having it there and knowing it's there. Like it's just really weird. I don't know why they did that.
It is really rough, and it is like consistently the smallest audience too.
Yeah.
And yet the folks that use it, they love it, and that is what they get their podcast through. And so like I don't want to leave you out to dry. So it should be there soon. As far as Google is concerned, it says everything's a-okay.
Yeah.
But I know it's on Apple. I know it's on Pocket Casts. I know it's on Spotify, Stitcher, and youtube.com/AMoveTV if you want to watch the video version.
Nice.
Go check it out.
Go do that. It's been great having you here. Now, before we go, and Garrett and I and Jocelyn are on the Instance on Friday, so check that out. Make sure you check us out this week. I don't know what our topic is. We got to come up with one quick.
We do, but I'm sure it'll be a wildly fascinating and extremely thoughtful conversation.
I am 100% sure that will be true. But between now and then, I need some musical inspiration, and Garrett chose our outro song as well. So tell us about this song and why you chose it and why I'm completely hooked on it. You don't have to explain that last part, but I am hooked on it.
Well, as I guess a bonus recommendal, over the weekend, we begrudgingly tried Ted Lasso. I didn't think I was going to like it because I don't give a flying crap about soccer, and usually sports shows don't do much for me. I have now seen all of Ted Lasso. I loved it so much, and Katie and I are cussing a lot more because we're pulling ourselves around the house quoting Roy Kent. That show has me thinking about Mumford and Sons a lot because what the first name I do not know, Mumford, does the score for Ted Lasso. Score all of the like non licensed music in that is the lead singer of Mumford and Sons, and as well as the intro song, which is a unique song just for that. And so Mumford and Sons has been on my mind, and I know it was coming here. And probably my second favorite cover of all time is a cover of Little Lion Man by Australian band Tonight Alive. They're like a pop punk, like alt rock band out of Sydney. Really, really good band. Obviously, if you're familiar with the song Little Lion Man, there's a couple F-bombs in here, but this song absolutely rips. So I hope you enjoy it.
Got completely hooked on it. I've listened to it 4 times this morning alone. And I would have kept going had the show not started. So I don't know what my problem is or why I think this cover's so great, but I actually think it supersedes the original, which is hard to say because I actually really like Mumford & Sons. But anyway, here it is. A quick warning. Got a couple F-bombs in it. If you know that song, you already knew that, but they're in there. So just a warning. I'm not going to bleep them or cut them out. I'm going to let them lie. Just giving you a fair warning there at home. If you are opposed to such things, you got kids in the car or whatever, just know that those are coming up. All right, that's going to do it. And Garrett mentioned that already, so I don't know why I'm repeating that. But anyway, here it is.
All good.
We'll be back tomorrow. Kim will be here co-hosting. Brian will be back this weekend, so next Monday you'll have TMS with Brian, and hopefully a live call from him tomorrow. We'll try to arrange that today, so we'll let you know. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for listening. We'll see you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
Leave a sample in the jar, please.
You have to do that before you leave. You got to leave a